So we got a surprisingly strong reaction yesterday when we talked about Daniel Jeremiah's mock draft 2.0, where Heisman Trophy winner wide receiver DeVonta Smith, absolute stud, fell to the Vikings at 14. And most of the reactions were, no, 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 need defensive tackle. It's way more of a need, or need O-line, 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 O-line. You can have all the weapons in the world, but Kirk can't throw when he's on his back. Didn't you watch the Super Bowl? Or, this is the best one. You only need 2 wide receivers, which is no. I mean, this is not 1938 as much as Zimmer wants it to be. Okay. Plus, Adam Thielen can't play forever. So, could you imagine Jefferson with DeVonta Smith long term? Woo! But I digress there. And yes, we could throw out the BPA examples from yesteryear. Adrian Peterson, 2007, number 7 overall pick, after you had Chester Taylor rush for 1,000 yards in 2006, or, of course, Randy Moss in 1998, Chris Carter and Jake Reed, yada, yada. Also, recent example, I'm glad that the Vikings drafted Eric Kendricks in the 2nd round in 2015, even though they were set at linebacker because they had Anthony Barr and Greenway and Gerald Hodges. They were good. So I'm glad they did that. But overall, my response is that improving the team's positions of need, it's not mutually exclusive. Like, they don't have to just pick 1 or 2, and that's it. Finito. Like, yes, by the way, wide receiver 3 is a need, unless you really believe in BC Johnson and or Chad Beebe if they bring him back. Especially if that wide receiver can return kicks or punts. 2 birds and 1 stone. Let's get it. And sure, between the cap issues and draft picks, even though #cap's a myth, there is a relatively finite amount of ways that you can improve the team. I understand that. But say a realistic hypothetical situation this offseason in free agency where the Vikings clear some cap space, and then for defensive tackle, they sign Shelby Harris or Geno Atkins or K'Wan Short, whatever, in free agency. And then for O-line, they sign Ethan Posich or Austin Blythe if they miss out on Joe Thuney, right? So say that happens in free agency. Defensive tackle, check. Offensive line, check. Then the possibility of drafting DeVonta at 14 if he falls that far, or Jalen Waddle or Kyle Pitts, like, it gets really intriguing. It does. By the way, if that happened, or the Vikings address both defensive tackle and guard in free agency, would you still say you can't draft a wide receiver because O-line, or D-line, etc.? No, it's silly and obtuse. Or you can go a different direction. Like, say the Vikings land Joe Thuney, the extreme version. Would the Vikings really force an Elijah Vera Tucker pick at 14 because of O-line? I mean, no. Or we can go BPA in terms of offensive line. So Christian Darrisaw, absolutely my guy. And in a world where you sign Joe Thuney and they bring back Riley Reef to play left tackle, you should still go Darrisaw if he's there at 14. Estate planning left tackle, man. Like, I understand that there might not be a spot for him day 1, although you could trade Riley Reef after that. But you could be okay. You could certainly be okay with all of that. And also, looking at the composition of the rest of the draft, where the Vikings will have 6 third and fourth round picks after compensatory picks are doled out. Offensive line, you got guys like Josh Myers and Landon Dickerson and Ben Cleveland and Trey Smith and Deontay Brown and David Moore and Drake Jackson and Aaron Banks and Tommy Kramer, no, the other one. Yeah, all could and should be available and could be potential week 1 contributors. And defensive tackle, thick. It's a thick class. Guys like Darius Stills, his brother Dante Stills, Aleem McNeil potentially could fall out of round 2. Marvin Wilson, Osa Odigizua, Jalen Twyman, hell, maybe even Jay Tufele could fall and be there in round 3. There's a lot of talent. There is a lot of talent both at O-line or interior offensive linemen and interior defensive line that are going to be there when the Vikings have a slew of picks between round 3 and round 4. And yes, this is an extremely deep and sexy wide receiver class, but there are no DeVonta Smiths in the 3rd and 4th round. There just aren't. There are not. So I think that we do fall into the trench of position of need. And this is the problem when you're looking at mock drafts before free agency actually goes down, because all those holes are still holes. And then you go into the draft and then you're thinking, has it really changed? So I think that we do have to factor in free agency when we're looking at these mock drafts, because drafting for need keeps you drafting for need. So don't be afraid to go BPA, especially if and when the Vikings do check a couple of these boxes of need in free agency. And, don't close your mind off to BPA if an amazing name falls. Like for receivers, DeVonta or Waddle or Kyle Pitts or hell, maybe even Micah Parsons. Like, say the Vikings somehow, some way get Anthony Barr, take a pay cut, and then they keep Eric Wilson. They should still take Micah Parsons if he's there at 14. Even though you're rolling 4 deep at linebacker if you can include Troy Dye. Or, hell, cornerback seems to be sutured up and ready to go. But if Farley or Surtain at 14, you got to think about it. You do. So even though all of those are not positions of need, don't ignore talent, because letting really solid talent pass by just because they're not at the top of your positions of need, nah. Especially with the draft firepower that the Vikings do have later on. So tranquilo, calm down. But overall, your thoughts? Draft BPA. That is all. Let us know in the comment section below. Subscribe for daily Vikings takes. Want to support that work? Pull us on the Venmo. But until next time, Skol, production value.